Right, hello again, everybody. Time for another Time Guesser Daily. I'm not going to use a timer today, but if you prefer seeing a timer, then just leave a comment. And if you rather just watch me agonize at length, then I don't know, maybe just like this video or something. Right, it looks like we're in Venezuela here. Pretty built up. I'm going to start by thinking we're probably in the capital, Caracas. Maybe before I go diving into the map too far, I'll see what other. Right, obviously, some kind of terrible thing has occurred where lots of people have died. Maduro narco dictator assassinate. Is this something? It seems like maybe people are protesting and maybe dying as part of their protest. I'm afraid if this is some famous struggle, I can't claim to be too well versed in it. They all seem to, these sites seem to be in Brazilian. I think Venezuela is a Spanish-speaking country. So I'm wondering whether this is a protest in Brazil on behalf of Venezuelans. But I'm not entirely sure. It's definitely these are definitely Portuguese language protest signs. So could it be? I mean, let's have a look and see if we can see these big red and white broadcasting towers or whatever they are. Where's the center of Caracas? Sort of here. These signs in Portuguese are really throwing me off because this is. I don't understand why the signs would be in Portuguese if it was a Venezuelan protest in Venezuela. So I'm wondering whether, we might be somewhere in Brazil, maybe somewhere kind of nearby in Brazil. There's a Brazilian flag. These are mostly what I can only assume must be Venezuelan flags. It's Brazil and Venezuela. So maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe these are like Brazilians in Venezuela protesting. I wish I could find these red and white tower things. I'm struggling to find sort of any of these kind of glass, Distrito Capital. Could it be that? Like capital district? No, it doesn't look like it, does it? Really doesn't look like it. Maybe it's not Caracas, maybe it's somewhere else in Venezuela. By the way, if anyone's keeping track, my wife got like 42,000 today, just over. So there's the there's the benchmark. Maybe we should just get her to start making videos. She's much better at this than I am. Right. I don't know. I'm going to be very annoyed if this turns out to be in Brazil. But I think, like, realistically, I mean, I can't find anywhere where it could, which which looks like this kind of, like this glass building is the one that I'm really wanting. Feel and with these big red and white kind of things next to it, feels kind of. And there seems to be a park on the other side of the street. So like maybe if we check near some of these parks. All right, well, this is getting a bit silly. I think we're just going to have to commit and say, look, even though we know that this is written in Portuguese and therefore feeling fairly confident that it could be Brazil, you know, the volume of references to Venezuela just feels difficult to go against that instinct. Much as like often when I can't, trying like this and can't find something, you know, it turns out that the reason I can't find it is because I'm completely looking in the wrong place. All right, I'm going to put it on fast forward again, but I'm just going to like check. I'm just going to double check some of these Brazilian now that I know to look next to a park. No, I'm not liking the look of any of these. I'm just going to plonk it in the middle of Caracas. Hope we haven't gone completely crackers. Well, oh, it's flipping disappeared now. Come on, where are we? I am extremely confused right now. But whatever. Let's just come in here. I need to put an end to this extremely confusing round and just pick a spot. At least this is looking a bit more verdant. I mean, it doesn't look like the right place to my eye, but at least we've got some trees. So I don't know. This whole round has completely thrown me off. I'll be very interested to watch this back and figure out what on earth has happened here, but whatever, let's just drop it in here. I'm pretty sure that's wrong. We need a year. It looks pretty recent. I would say. I mean, I'm not seeing any kind of technology that's going to help. Really? That's a picture of Venezuela. I don't know. I'll be very confused when I watch this one back. Or rather, enlightened when I watch this back. I'm confused now. I'm pretty sure this is in Brazil, but you know, we are where we are. Let's just put an end to this. Let's say it's 2019, and you know, we'll just yeah. It was in Sao Paulo. All right. Terrible. I sort of knew that was wrong, but I don't know. Whatever. It's been a long day. I've been travelling today. You'll notice I'm no longer in France, sadly. Right, this is Reagan. Trump looks pretty young by anyone's standards. So Reagan was sort of around the early 70s, wasn't he? I'm just going to assume this is in the White House. Let's hope this is a little bit better than round one, which is absolutely dreadful. Sort of embarrassingly bad. This is just going to be somewhere kind of in the main part of the White House, I expect. Are we going to say 1970? Sure. Oh. Who was I thinking of? Oh, this is awful. Okay, well, Jesus, right. Let's see whether we can start to improve this. This is terrible so far. Das Steak Restaurant sounds German, doesn't it? Geldautomat, German. Schluss mit dem Polizeiterror. Stop police terror. Question is, where are we in Germany or somewhere German speaking? I would guess this is sometime kind of in the. It's looking kind of 80s to me, just sort of straight off the bat, looking at these interestingly clad folks, like late 80s. And the sort of. I don't know, maybe it's just about creeping into the 90s, but. Does that say UBS? Or is that. I mean, because I'm wondering whether maybe this is Switzerland, German speaking Switzerland, but. There's a front of a bus here, which would be really great if we could read what that said, but we cannot. What does that say? There's this third language at the bottom. Sparda Bank. I feel like that name is a clue. But I don't know. I'm not really picking up on what that clue is. I think in terms of timing, let's sort of say late 80s, sort of about 1989, like it could just about be. I mean, it could be earlier than that. It could be a bit later. Somewhere with trams, cobbles, somewhere German speaking. It doesn't really look like Berlin to me. Could it be somewhere further south, like Munich? Does Munich have trams and something called Sparda Bank? I don't recognise the name Sparda Bank, I must say. Let's just have a quick look to see if we can see any evidence of it. It doesn't really look very Swiss, this whole thing. But let's just have a quick look and see if we can see evidence of Sparda Bank being a Swiss bank. Oh, look. Churrasco. That's the same name as that. Is it possible that... it looks like a different building to me. But we do have a restaurant called Churrasco. Different one? Maybe a chain? I'm not seeing evidence of like a building that shape unless it's like, what would we be looking at here? That's Churrasco on a building. We'd sort of be looking at it, if anything, from like this direction. But first of all, I don't think we've got tram lines here. So I think Churrasco must be a chain. Do we have other Churrascos like in Zurich? Is it that much of a chain? Or is it more that we have... I don't even know if there's trams in Zurich, actually. Is that a tram? Could be, couldn't it? Yeah, I think these are tram lines. Damn, I was sort of hoping we wouldn't see trams here, because then I could cross it off the list. So far, we have evidence of this churrasco place being like around in Switzerland. That's not to say there aren't also churrascos in Germany. If that is just another random restaurant called Churrasco and I happen to zoom in on it, then that is very strange. I'm pretty confident that wasn't the right one. What was it that made me think this was Switzerland rather than Germany? Was it the fact that... Oh, well... IBS. Churrasco. I mean, sausage on a fork, dare I say it, seems quite typically German. Churrasco Das Steak Restaurant. Clearly churrasco is still a thing. But whether all of the same churrascos are all in the same places they were in however long ago this was. And again, I could just be completely wrong about when this was, but I have already checked Munich, but I'll just have another check. Today is not my day. I think I do better with a timer. I think that's what I'm going to tell myself after this absolutely catastrophic performance. I'm not seeing any churrascos or whatever it's called. Yeah, churrasco outside of Switzerland. Which is not to say there aren't any. I could just be looking in all the wrong places, of course. But if there aren't any making themselves evident in Germany, I may just have to go back to Switzerland and hope that that's what it was. Can I find where churrasco was that I found the first time? Maybe I'll just drop it down there and think maybe somehow it's still the same one. And now I can't find it again. Should have dropped a flipping pin on it. Oh, I virtually did drop a pin on it. I mean, I'm fairly sure this is not right, but churrasco, you know, whatever. It's already a terrible day. Do we think this is 80s? Do we think this is creeping into the 90s? I don't think this is earlier than the 80s. Well, there's not a huge amount to go on other than just what these people are wearing. This guy, I don't know, I mean, they all look a bit unhinged from a clothing perspective. Maybe it is the 90s. Let's say 90 on the nose, just in case. Oh, it was 7 years later and it was up in... I guess there are churrascos all over the place. Bad today. These boats with the things hanging off the side I associate with the Philippines. But my immediate thought when seeing this whole construct was Thai. So I'll keep looking for some evidence here. I mean, yeah, I think I'll go with my first instinct here and say Thailand. It's the level of gold, basically. I just associate this kind of gold, elaborate, and all the yellow. I associate that with Thailand. Having never been to Thailand, I might be wrong. Very easily could be wrong. Somewhere coastal with a bit of beach. I mean, Thailand's obviously got a huge amount of coast, but some of it doesn't look particularly beachy. Can we get any evidence about which direction we're facing? It looks like we're facing into the sun, doesn't it? Which makes me think this is a kind of south-facing bit of coastline, but we're so close to the equator, aren't we, here? Like, honestly, it could sort of be anything here. Let's try and find a bit of south-facing beach, just because that's my instinct here. Like this. Sure. Well, maybe we should find a spot that's actually got some boats on it. I mean, there's a bunch of boats, but they don't have the little bits off the side. So maybe my whole like Philippines thought with the boats with the kind of arms. Yeah, I'm not seeing any boats of that style, which is not to say they don't exist, but it may be that they're less common here than they are. I would just expect some of these boats to have that structure, have that hallmark of the wide things. So I expect if we look in like if we look in the Philippines, for example, look, there you go, like that. Immediately, or almost immediately, if we look at the Philippines, we're seeing that style of boat much more immediately than we are in Thailand. So I'm tempted. I mean, the Philippines are flipping enormous. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. In between the two. I mean, maybe it's even somewhere else. Maybe it's like Vietnam or something. I don't know. Let's just plonk it there. Whatever. We're only miles off anyway. I think this is going to be quite recent. I see quite a lot of masks. Quite a lot of masks. Let's say 2021. Okay, it was 2021. And it was in Bali. Okay, all right. Well, bad on the location. We are not doing well today. This is probably going to be one of my worst days ever. I think that's Muhammad Ali. I don't recognise where he is. Like, this could almost be London. Architecturally, this could easily be London. Hong Kong Emporium. I don't specifically recognise these buildings, but like from a yeah, I mean it could easily be in a sort of you know, mid 60s. I don't know, something about this is saying sort of central kind of Soho to me. I don't know why. It's saying kind of down this sort of end. I don't know why. I think I'm just thinking that because I go down, I'm quite familiar with those streets, so I just think of that sort of thing. It's also quite close to Chinatown, maybe Hong Kong. I don't know. I don't know. Let's try it. Oh, I was on the right street. I was 4 years off. Okay, well, small consolation at the end, but all in all, an absolutely terrible day. I started off very badly, knowing kind of that it was unlikely to not be Brazil, but going with Venezuela anyway. Choosing completely the wrong presidential era for Reagan. I must have been thinking of Nixon and getting those two confused. This one, oh, I mean, flipping heck, who knows? Bad. This one, I got the right year, but I couldn't pick Bali out. Not a part of the world I'm particularly familiar with, though, yeah, I sort of hedged between those two things, but I was completely wrong either way. I guess maybe Bali has those boats with the wings as well as the Philippines. And then, okay, I was sort of reasonably happy with that. Went a little bit early, but hmm. Well, that's brought me down a bit, but we can only go upwards from here. Um, yeah, like and subscribe.